All right, Cassante is in, showing just exactly how the stats on this champion can flex on anybody, even a dominant laner like Annie, getting pushed around. Now, Cassante being that anchor in the middle means that Peanut is able to invade. Now, this is a very volatile matchup. Of course, Peanut is going to play it to the exact limits. If you ever want to see what to do on an Italy jungle, just watch this man work. Poppy can put up steadfast presence to stop the engages. The problem is that Nidalee's just raw damage, just running you down as a ranged champion is always going to be good. Now, GenG Delight playing the Rel again on full retreat and getting just waxed here in the bot lane. And I'm liking what's happening here. We've got Kennen is going to trounce the top lane. Poppy is going to outscale the Nidalee. Cassante, despite being the stronger laner than the Annie, is very much a reactive player. You need to wait for things to come to you. Malphite being proactive, Rel having to she can do both, but her best role is going to be again when someone like a Vi or a Poppy's diving into your team, collapsing on top of them. Will not have access to that. And based on how G2 was able to execute these plays up and top, it's just good stuff. Now what happened to Yike here? Goes back for the shield, doesn't get it on this pixel, dies as it's loading. Oh my goodness, barely. But honestly, otherwise well executed. I put that in the unlucky category. Little bad habit there from Hansama, hugging this upper wall. You generally don't want to do that. Now, any rotations? Not yet. Looks like Rel's actually going straight back to the bot lane, something that you only need to do if your wave is being pushed in and you think that your carry is going to get dove, which could be the case now with this lead that they've mounted for themselves. Again, we get the Rush Berserker Greaves. Modal item, right? It can be played offensively and defensively, which is why it's so good right here. It lets you get more feathers out for the chain CC roots, on top of being able to retreat faster while you are expressing your lead. So love the purchase there by the Xayah. And again, showing up just the combination of Xayah and Rakan, right? That extra on-hit ability for the Rakan is absolutely paramount, right? If you want to take this lane and you want to flex with it, that is what you have to do. You have to use your attack buttons with Rakan. I know it's not common. Normally doesn't have that much value to weave them in, but with a Xayah pumping them up, you better believe it matters. Continued pressure over here. Even with Cassante being off the map, they say, no, we can still play up. We're good. Cassante shows again, which means Hansama is just going to continue to rip into them. I wouldn't be surprised to see a dragon play soon from G2. They've got this imminent pressure here. Zeri's wave clear is not particularly great early, so if Hansama gets this wave all the way in, then they can go over and fight for the Dragon Prio. Problem is that Poppy opted to go to Wolves rather than to Scuttle Crab, so they don't have the Scuttle for themselves. This is a mistake by Yike. Yeah, just there was a better play available, a much better play available. Ends up not getting it off. Means that they relinquish a little bit of pressure in the bot wave. They end up trying to turn it into a deeper ward for themselves. It looks like Rakan stepped up. I don't know if he actually got a ward up there. I don't think he did. Yeah, goes up there, ends up putting a ward in the river. I like this depth, but it still won't have perfect information on Nidalee. The good news is at least if she jumps that wall in Cougar form, then you have about 3 seconds before she can go back in. Now pays again with the fast cleanse. I'm curious why. Is he doing it because they think they've got Blade Collar? All right, there we go. There's the Nidalee. Pops up, shows. Doesn't matter. They're willing to take the strength. They say, if you continue this fight on us, Poppy is ready, watching, rearing, and ready to go to continue. Now, what are they going to do? Are they going to assume that she backed? Yeah, they're just feeling super strong here. Even if there were a 3v3, we've got the HP lead, we've got the synergy lead, we've got the level lead, and we've got the fact that Poppy could come in here and counter this 3v3 easily. So, G2 flexing in this bot wave. Love what they're doing. Now Hansama, there we go. Oh, it's so broken. It's so good. Does it doing exactly what you should do? No, actually misses the recall. Okay. Yikes. All right, so generally what you want to do with that is you count to 5 as the Rakan is recalling, and then you say, I'll spend the last 2 seconds to latch up with you, right? And you can go play aggressively. You can go say, hey, I'm going to go zone, make sure that they're not willing to go into this bush because we're actually willing to deal damage back to you. And then in the last 2 seconds, you join the Rakan to get that recall. Instead, Xayah gets pressed out of the bush, has to recall 3 different times, and loses 20 seconds for herself. So potentially a point of weakness. It shouldn't be too much of a problem because they've already got a big enough lead, but it may cost them several minions coming back into the wave. Oh no. Mickey getting away. Oh my gosh. Chovy blowing flash. All right, it's because he knows that there's no continuation here. Tibbers is coming up, and there it is. That's enough. Chovy reaching out the whole time. Caps was just waiting on that cooldown, gets it off, and gets the kill. Chovy overreaching, did not need to go for that much. Let's see if Kennen ends up paying the price up in top lane. Does Rel rotate it over to be some insurance to make sure that they're winning. They're doing this, of course, in case junglers show up to make sure that it's a 3 versus 2. But they won't be able to undo the Chovy death here. It will teleport mid, so won't be taxed as much as it could have been without it. But certainly an entire wave and a plate down in the favor of Caps Annie. So despite having a demonstrably worse laning phase, ends up getting into trouble there. And Yike picks up the experience by coming over this wall. A little bit of an overstay from Doran. Looks like a little bit of a stream issue going on. It doesn't look like we missed much. All right, gold states are even. Chovy gets right back to the getting as soon as they come back to lane. Now, using the point that Annie's trying to recall and the fact that Casante's in and pushing means that they do have the upper hand for securing this dragon. However, they have to deal with this Xayah Rakan lovers duo in the bot wave that has imminent pressure there at all times, right? Better wave clear, better all in. They just have the winning lane for themselves. And, this is blue team's privilege. You'd think, although with the first pick Kennen, there's a chance, GenG could have taken this for themselves, opted to try to counter it with Zeri and Rel, and certainly Zeri will be able to out-carry the Xayah in the hyper late game. But, just looking at these compositions, seems like G2 is going to have a very, very good time. Very easy for each one of these champions to set each other up. And again, you have 5 different champions with displacement effects, right? Or ways to control the crowd. Chovy just flexing, my goodness. And they're showing why players go for grasp in this lane, even when it's against range, because you're just that strong. Caps opting to just blow the load, which is very, very intelligent. Uses Tibbers, which helps to get the minion wave dead. Also gets a chunk out on the Chovy. On the Casante, Casante will not be able to grasp off of this as well. So basically, all this damage is all going to stick. Now, LS says that Tibbers gold is the most important 50 gold in the game. So Peanut collects it for themselves using the spear. Can't tell if Caps was trying to block it for themselves or whether or not it was just a incidental, hey, I can get the Tibbers gold here by throwing the spear. Either way, Poppy Ultimate is used on the Screamer. It is still going to get in and get 2 more plates for themselves. Here we go. Good job, Doran, showing some aggression. Using that ultimate. Oh, broken blade. Kadam. That is something that you have to do in these matchups, right? If you just let them whittle away at your health bar, you'll never be able to do anything. At least be proactive. Malphite doing that, using the ultimate to get a chunk down on the Kennen. Now, I haven't seen the skill order, but generally what you see is 3 points into Q into max E. Sometimes they'll go earlier into max E to make sure that they can just clear the wave, and then the points in the W are nice for the extra resistances and the ability to push the wave as well. Oh my goodness, Chovy finding a good angle to pull Caps over, ends up getting his flash. And he's going to stay topped off at this all-out HP threshold. Chovy is just on another level, right? Casante's on another level too. But you know what Hansama's saying? I'm on a level 2. You know, I'm pretty good too. So I can take it. I can take it to them here. I can carry this game. We do end up seeing the Banshee's Veil rush on Kennen, making sure not to take that first Nidalee Spear. Also just exceptionally good to have these resistances into a Nidalee and a Malphite lane. But saying, hey, I just don't want to get locked up by this first thing, right? Whether it be a Rel Crashdown or Malphite Ultimate, Nidalee Long Range Spear, all of these are going to have value being mitigated. But it does look like it's actually just the Verdant Veil coming in first, and then it's going to be Proto Belt or Rocket Belt being built right away now. Now, here's the gold difference. G2, 20 gold on 2 different champions. Xayah, despite being demonstrably ahead and winning these fights by a significant margin, still only a 20 gold lead, which is kind of unreal. Yike, what are you doing? How do you not get that off? Yike, you missed the opportunity. You had 2 chances for the dash. Ends up blowing the flash, going E-flash. Doesn't get the steadfast presence up, though. And they don't get the kill, right? That should have been a lockup. Should have been a bounce into the wall, put up the steadfast presence to stop the dash, and then Rakan gets the chain CC into the Xayah route. Should have been a kill, but showing just how good, just how safe Zeri can be. If someone makes a mistake by even 1 millisecond, that is enough to get away. And so Pays escapes. Oh, it was cleanse. It was cleanse into E. But cleanse into E, still, steadfast presence should have been available for them. It looks like Pays kind of caught him by surprise with the ability to do that. And Yike should have been ready. Just should have been up immediately. Would have been more than enough to get the rest of the team for the chain CC. I suppose at any given moment in that combination, she could say, all right, that's fine. You have the steadfast presence up right away. I'll wait for the route from Xayah and then pop it from there. But, you know, that's another 40% of their HP being gone. Might be enough to kill them. So something to improve for G2. Now Malphite coming over and zoning. Very happy in this situation. Does look like he has put maximum points into E. Now this is something I see from these Kennons, right? In order to really snowball these lanes, they've been maxing Q. And it sure brings a lot of damage to the laning phase. But when you get to these team fights, Q is the worst ability, right? You want to have the extra speed. You want to have the extra AoE. All of these extra tools available to you. And not having it means that potentially not going to have all the blow up in the fight. And here's a Broken Blade using the ultimate. They get the advantage, jumping over the fight. I like the positioning here. Let's see if they end up protecting Caps as they move forward. Caps is kiting to the right while Malphite's moving up. The rest of the team is able to go forward. Good positioning by G2 to get the maximum. They only lose Rakan. They get 2 kills. Rel and Malphite forced to back away. They don't overreach trying to get the Zeri. Zeri would have been able to punish at that point. And G2 able to keep Caps alive. They're able to bring people over for the Dragon. Now, with the teleport coming in, we have a matching teleport here from Caps. Kennon's already in position, but no ultimate. Worth noting, but just much better basic abilities than a Malphite here. And this would be the situation where Q's going to be strong, right? Extra ability to stun lockdown. More damage up in front, longer range on your main source of damage without having to dive into them. So showing, you give something, you get something back. There's definitely advantages for the Q. Anytime that your ultimate is down, Q's better, obviously. But when you're trying to put everything else together, points in E and W are the maximum amount of damage. Now let's see, is this overreach? Jumping in, they've got good vision in here. Mickey hiding into the side. We've got Caps, sees an angle, but opts not to go for Delight here or Cassante. Yeah, all right, ends up trying to reach, gets nothing out of it, just gets chunked, ends up throwing the Tibbers down that she should have thrown in the beginning. But hey, ends up walking away with 1 HP, so could have actually been the correct play. Would be worth going pixel by pixel, or frame by frame on that replay to see where those damages are coming in. But my instinct says that Annie should have just unloaded those on the 2 in the pit. Perhaps, though, the lingering fight, the fact that you get Nidalee to turn around for a moment and to throw a Q and an E, maybe that's what allows you to get that Nidalee kill. So tough to say sometimes what would have been perfect in the moment and what is the best play available. Now here we go. K'Sante using all out, but doesn't get to the wall, which means Kennen just takes it. And that's a mistake. That's just a mistake from Chovy, getting stuck in this position. Has Iceborne Gauntlet, which is not going to offer him the resistances. Has Merc Treads to play defensively a bit, but combined with the Iceborne and the Aegis of the Legion now, there's not enough health on this K'Sante. Normally you want to get these resistances paired up with a lot of health. Oh, a beautiful pullback from Hans Sama, showing why he's a complete master on the pick. Gets both champions here. Pays opting to go forward. Evokes the Feathers Fly from Hans Sama, but he is able to get out. Great job on this champion, taking that moment to sidestep to hit the double root. Great combination from the players here so far. This is a big positive swing for G2, obviously, right? Individual kills, individual outplays. You have 193 CS on both the AD carries. They are going to be plenty farmed up, but Xayah with the 3 assists will be a little bit further ahead. And my goodness, Peanut is just running amok in the jungle. Now, goes into melee range as Poppy's coming up. That surprised her, and she's stuck in the Steadfast Presence. Ends up trying to use the W to get to the Blast Cone rather than over the wall, and gets beat up. So now everyone, K'Sante's died. We had the bot lane. We had everybody take turns inting on GenG. Despite that, though, they're still over a 1k gold lead, which is crazy to think about just how much pressure they were able to get in the form of plates and getting all 3 of these outer turrets down and the inner in mid lane. So, those inner turrets being worth so much money. That's really the source of their gold lead right now, is that turret. The good news for G2 is the same standing gold is up there, right? They're about to collect this outer turret in mid lane, and once they collect this inner one, if they decide to continue pressing for it, that is gold advantage waiting to go in their favor. Kennen looking to burst out the K'Sante, saying, hey, you went all out. I actually have enough damage here, but doesn't realize the calculations. Too many resistances left up on on K'Sante, and the fact that Nidalee was in the back pocket to heal means that Broken Blade is not able to turn that kill. Ends up inting one back. And this might be Baron. We're going to see this game will come down to this. If G2 is able to make a hero play here, ooh, beautiful job by Poppy, using Steadfast Presence to interrupt the dive in, and then using the ultimate to bounce her out. Yike also dodging the CC. If Yike gets out here, we'll call it a tremendous win in the favor here. Look at this. They use the Steadfast Presence again, and Annie peels. They're going to get everything, but now at what cost? They've gone so deep. You're going to get full carry potential here from Hans Sama. 3 people have gone into 5. Rel was not willing or able to get there. And the reach, Annie peeling, they end up getting the Poppy, but reaching for the Poppy ends up getting 3 players dead, which means the map belongs to G2. The question will be, what do they want now, Dragon? Dragon 3 or Baron? The better prize is the Baron. You should be able to leverage a Baron into the Dragon if you want to, and that is what they go for. Now, K'Sante, is he going to start trying to chug away at this? Maybe not, because their jungler is 10 seconds on respawn, and Malphite does not have teleport. So they may opt to try to hold in this space, especially if Chovy has the all-out. Opts to not do it. Takes a peek to see if the Blast Cone were there. Of course, if you're able to ult someone over the back of the pit, that would be tremendous as the K'Sante. But what I don't like is the fact that you wasted time going over there means that you don't have a head start on this dragon. Potentially meaning that you might be a little bit late to the setup. Now, I don't think G2 is actually going to run out here. It's first dragon for the enemy team. That's fine. They're going to position themselves for the push. Now, there's no teleport on Annie, although it's coming up fairly quickly, less than a minute away, but Kennen is more than 3 minutes away until his, so he's going to be looking to be near the team. There it is, the flash engage being stopped. Yike, doing everything possible to keep these guys off of him. And Cash just coming around, gets one shield onto Yike and comes on over. That little speed boost definitely mattered. Hits the blast cone as well to give an extra source of speed boost. Now, imagine if Doran had just used that flash in the beginning. What if he just uses that earlier? Are they able to get that kill and get out cleanly? These are the gold graphs comparing game 1 and game 2 to game 3. And you saw that they are on a very similar trajectory, but they flipped the script here. The middle game just constantly, GenG just looking, trying to be proactive. And kind of this is the problem with a Nidalee pick, that you constantly have to be hunting. You have to be reaching and looking for these plays. And it relies on, frankly, at this level, getting kind of lucky on the spears hitting. Sees the angle, chain CC. Oh my goodness, I don't like this play. Again, this goes up into the bounce house. Now, Broken Blade coming in, this makes it perfect. If Hans Sama can rip into them over the wall, but doesn't have quite enough damage to full carry here. And that play ends up being a reach in G2. Oh my goodness, is this going to be game? It probably shouldn't be game, even if they get this collection on the Hans Sama. We'll see. Has flash, uses it right there. Expect to use Feathers Fly right here. And then draws it back if they get a kill for themselves. No E? No, the E was used right away. Oh, a little bit preemptive on the E. Could have gotten a couple more attacks off first before drawing back the feathers. Hansama missing a chance to get a kill back, but good job staying alive. Ends up using all of the tools, however, right? Ghost, Flash, and Ultimate down. So she is definitely a target now. Poppy's going to switch into peeling mode. But yeah, ever since this Baron, this power play has been quite the opposite. Don't like how deep you are right here. Just a little too far away from the Kennen. Goes for the R flash into Rocket Belt. But it's just not enough early damage. Opting, of course, for that defensive itemization means that you just have a little bit less to help you in that spot. And you see how nervous those guys are. Now, making up for it, going for the most aggressive damage-only item in the game there for the Kennen next. Skipping something like Rabadons. Of course, you get better damage for the all-in using the Void. Right? You go Void Staff, and you'll get more damage. It doesn't help your wave clear the way that Rabadons does, but it being significantly less expensive means you get it online, and it's going to be better for your bottom-line damage than getting something like 2... wands, so needlessly large rods. All right, Cassante ends up skipping. Why would he do this? So early on had Iceborne Gauntlet, had the extra move speed, and then had the Aegis, and is opting to finish Force of Nature. Why? The majority of the sustained damage coming out to them is going to be from the Xayah. Perhaps towards the end of the fight, since Xayah will be prioritizing other targets, might be why he's opting not to go for Stoneplate second. But very, very much non-standard. Force of Nature, make no mistake about it, it's a fantastic item. Chovy, you didn't need to teleport there. And all right, what is GenG doing? They're saying that Chovy's going to survive long enough that they'll want to come down here. Why are you doing this? This is a big mistake. Something that I'm going to miss PSG for. They did not make this mistake a single time. Someone's getting picked. Don't just send everybody over there on a 30-second runaround that's going to result in nothing except for what's happening right now, which is showing up to a objective underpowered. Right? If you have enough tools to definitely win through, them using ultimates, for example, but in that case, they didn't use any ultimates. The Cassante was so well and truly dominated by the rest of the players that bringing more people to this play just means that you get nothing back for yourself. So Nidalee has the right idea. Peanut has been very good about doing this, knows how to cut off waves, especially on Nidalee in general, gets the mid wave into the turret, But the whole team could have done that, right? They actually could have gone and traded and said, hey, we're going to force you to run back to your base. Even though you got a kill, we can make you retreat to defend your base, and then we can go get dragons. So definitely a missed opportunity by GenG. Happens all the time in your solo queue games. Take the guaranteed counter play. Get guaranteed gold for yourself, and in this case, it would have been imminent threat on the base. So instead, we get this dragon standoff. Malphite reaching, feeling like he has to get something done. Gets the Poppy flash, but this isn't going to be impactful enough. So now from this point on, we're down 1,500 gold. G2 also being in much better position, better on the rotations, has a better clump right now. Is going to isolate this Malphite and get this kill. Not the most meaningful pick, since his ultimate is already down, but look at this cannon chasing after Pays on the Zeri, one of the champions that can just make that gap close, even against someone as quick as Zeri. And yeah, they're cleaning up everybody. Q3 from Chovy is enough to keep himself alive, barely. But this is going to be an expelled inhibitor here. Oh, yike. Almost pulling a yikes. Are they really trying to set a trap here? They might. Ooh. Sussing out that Peanut will always jump this wall. Yike going in with only the extra health on his shield. Playing it to the limit. I don't know that you need to do this, especially your team is backing off. You are shooting yourself in the foot as far as tempo. Yes, you might get this kill, maybe. But you're walking into enemy team respawns on the fact that you'll be on their side of the map too late. And we saw that this is actually how they lost to the European Championship. Right? It was this same play. It was Yike in the wolf pit, overstaying. Ends up getting hit by a thresh hook, I believe it was. It's a tough dynamic to go, right? If you're a coaching staff and you've got a player who is very good and is very talented, and one of his strengths is being proactive, you don't want to take that aggression away from him, but you have to eliminate these plays where the over aggression is just that. It's just overly aggressive, and it gets your team into a weak spot where you can potentially get punished. Not going to be the case this time. Poppy jumping off the Rel, which means that Kennan's going to snowball this entire fight for himself. Hansama with the self-peel still dies to Chovy. Ooh, big damage from Yike. I love it. Coming on in. You can't let the Rel out with the steadfast presence, but she does wait it out and then gets out for herself. Annie's going to tank up the turret. This time actually using the Tibbers to juke. My goodness. Juking with Tibbers to make sure that even that doesn't get killed by the spear, so the 50 gold doesn't go down. You'd want it to tank the turret for you here, but not at this HP. Why is it gaining so much health? Is this normal? Is this something that Tibbers does? Tibbers? Love that they're ending here, by the way. Good job. I'm too flabbergasted by this Tibbers thing. I have to go look this up now. Hold on. League. Wiki. Annie. Tibbers. Tibbers can be recast. Remains on the field for 45 seconds. I don't recall ever seeing Tibbers heal up that amount. Why was he healing? And healing that much? I don't know. I'm going to keep on watching this game to make sure that it's not a bug that they pull out. No, it looks like it's going to be official. I have to see this again. Yeah, Tibbers just goes from 1 HP. Right? It's at 5% right there. And he heals all the way back up. I don't think this is supposed to happen. Now Tibbers has gained himself up all the way to 80% HP. I don't know, guys. Comment in the section below if you know. I'd be happy to learn about this. Would be happy to hear from Annie One Tricks. I don't ever recall seeing Tibbers' HP bar go up like that, so I'm very curious.